Sakio, how you
All
doing,
right.
champ?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Thanks for finally taking the time to join me today.
Oh, I'm very pleased, as you know, to have me and your bro star.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure having you on. Followed you for a long time now. What's your career growing up as well? Yeah, fantastic. So it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sakio, so I want to ask you, obviously, your former WBC and former IBO super middleweight champion, but I want to know, how did your boxing journey first begin?
Oh, my boxing journey began when I was young. I was 13 years old, back home in Cameroon, and I have the dream one day to become before to qualify for 2000 Olympic and sometime maybe to become a world champion. And because I used to see all these big father like Terry Norris, Roy Jones, De La Hoya, and I want to become like them. And that was to draw me to become, to work very hard to achieve my goal.
Brilliant, brilliant. Obviously, some great champions you mentioned there. Uh, Dominated the sport for years and years. So I'm sure, obviously, for you to reach becoming a world champion was a very, very great achievement for yourself.
Of course, it was really great achievement for myself because I fought so many times for the world champion, and I never have I had the chance to win the world champion. Man, was always fighting people in the background. Like when I want to say, like Bute, Calzaghe, Andrew, and this guy, I always take my heart from them. But technically, I supposed to be the world champion a long time ago. Market buyer, my first world title in the WBC in Germany. It was a draw. I was winning every round, and then I couldn't let the fight go away. And MC was a technical draw because market buyer have a card, and MC was a draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that fight very like it was yesterday. I remember all the fights you've had as well, some of the
Yeah.
massive fights you've had over the years. Sakio, I want to ask you, obviously, I want to talk to you about your career. Obviously, Tokyo 21 started now. Have you enjoyed the Olympics so far?
Oh, the Olympics is great. They have so many young and coming father, and then watching the Olympics. I like the sport. I like boxing. I think compare with all the sport and combine in the Olympic. I have so many big father that I can watch. My boxing was one of my best thing to watch. So many young people. I think it was just is remember me in 2000 when I was in the 2000 Olympic. It's always the dream of a young kid to qualify to be in the Olympic. And when you're at the Olympic, is the best feeling, and then you all achieve your level for amateur, and then go to Olympic and wanted to become a professional. That's a very good achievement for me. I will enjoy to watch the Olympic. I'm very happy. This young kid, I don't know who they are. But I think maybe one of the kids over there will become one of the world champion. Like one Russian guy, is light heavyweight.
Yeah, I think that
Is
is
a
where, yeah.
yeah.
Uh, Obviously, 2000 Olympics. It was in Sydney. You competed in that Olympics. Obviously, you're now living in Sydney. What made you fall in love with the city?
Oh, I was just when you say love in the beginning, I was just very. I would say I was lucky to get signed about Jeff Finney. It was two-time world champion after the 2000 Olympic. I would decide to go back home, to go back to America or again. Feel I say America was a big platform to everyone want to go there. And then I decided maybe I need to give a shot in Australia. And I was just get very lucky. Stephanie signed me up and I said maybe I need to give a shot in Australia. And Australia embraced me and I become maybe one of the Australia citizenship, and the best country in the world to live. Now Cameroon one of the best country too, like England too. I love England. But technically, Australia is really, really good country. Everyone's dream to come and live for.
So what's it like, obviously, in terms of boxing facilities and gyms and stuff like that? How good is it over there?
Technically, over here, it's not like England, it's not like America. The gym is good. The boxing over here is not like in England, they have so many good promoters. They have young and coming father, the promoter, and then they have like good system, like amateur to become a professional. Yeah, it's just a little bit very, very difficult to make a name of yourself in Australia. If you're really good a boxer, you just have to get out for this country to go maybe in Europe or America or somewhere. Man, being a professional in Australia, technically, I can't say it's very, very difficult to become a professional, like full-time professional in Australia. Man, technically, boxing here is very popular. People, Australia, they love them. Boxing is always clear. We not have very good promoter in Australia to promote Yak and Kamifara. You know, Jawa is very difficult to become a professional in Australia.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So I want to talk a bit about early in your career, because I want to talk about a special show I watched you fighting, and that was the Contender, season 3, which you won, and you starred alongside Sylvester Stallone and Sugar Ray Leonard. How was that to obviously be in there with some iconic names and actually go on to win the competition?
Oh man, it was a dream come true, because you know, young father, you know, go to meet up like this Sugar Ray Leonard, De La Hoya, you know, Sylvester Stallone. It wasn't for my season, man, you know, Sylvester Stallone, De La Hoya, all this big fight. It was just for me. You know, I was, you know, now I never agree. Back then, it was just a wow. This is De La Hoya, this is Sugar Ray, you know, and talking with Sugar Ray, me and Sugar become a friend, you know. It was just to me a dream come true, you know. I feel I say, wow, to win for this tournament, you know, it's not about to win it before. On the start, it was just mirror these big people who I used to watch them on TV and shake their head and train me and get the best trainer like Pepe Corona and see Buddy Miguel, the trainer. It was just for me, the feeling was no, I can't describe. You see, sometimes when you see them face to face, you say, it's a man I used to see on television. And then when you then start explaining you about, no, you just have to believe yourself, telling you, no, you have to, you need to follow your dream, you need to work very hard, you have to you have to focus exactly what you want to achieve in life. And that was drawing me, you know, to being very positive to try to win, you know, the tournament, because the feeling, you know, the advance, you know, I have Sugar Ray telling me every single day, and De La Hoya, Macrina, Badimi, and Pepe Corona. For me, it was just one of the best moments of my life to be there. I wasn't there for win. For me, I was just there because I want to make the name for myself. But at the end of the day, when I won it, I was just so happy, you know, to win the Contender season 3.
Yeah. Did you think when you first competed in the Contender, did you think it would be so successful? Because it was really, really successful, especially over here in the UK. A lot of people in the UK watched it. Did you really think it would do that very well?
Technically, when I was there, I didn't know I was supposed to do well because, you know, I wasn't like very loud, like some people that was there very loud, they want to win very bad. Man, I knew say everyone and over inside the Contender season 3, I knew say nobody there couldn't beat me. Man, my problem is I wasn't the kind of, I don't like to show off, I don't like to talk rubbish like, you know, this American, you know, and I can't say the English people like, you know, because I'm one of my best friends. His name was on the season 3 Contender. His name was I forgot. It was one. You know, we became a friend. His name was what's his name again? Yeah, I can't remember his name again.
Yeah,
what did you say?
I know. I was trying to think of the name, but I couldn't remember either. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I think it was Simic, Paul Simic.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, Paul Simic.
Yeah, no,
yeah, no. You know, he knew how to talk, he knew how to sell himself. And me, you know, I used to, you know, compare for everyone there because, you know, I fought so many good fighters. I fought like, to me, like when they asked me if I want to come to the Contender, I only have the experience to fight like Lucian Bute. I fought Lucian Bute. Yeah, I fought who again? Can't remember. I fought Lucian Bute. I fought some very big name. And then to me, being in the Contender, I knew say nobody over there is supposed to beat me again. You never say that. I was just taking one back anytime, and then when I win it, I was just so happy. I was released. I was so happy. You know, I'll have the one of the recognized name, like everyone knew who I was, you know. And before nobody knew who I was, man, when I won the contender, everyone knew exactly who I was, and everyone watched that around the world. It was just one of the best shows in the world.
Yeah, it really was. Obviously, HBO as well was in part of it as well. It was big over here on ITV as well. It was a massive series, and it done very, very well for years to come. I want to talk to you a bit about some of the fighters you've been in the ring with. Obviously, you've been in the ring with some Hall of Famers, some legends of the game over the years. Come up short for world titles. You mentioned earlier. You mentioned likes of Joe Calzaghe, Andre Ward, Lucian Bute. I want to ask you, though, champ. Who is the most difficult opponent out of the three that you faced?
Oh, okay. For the three. Bute, Andre Ward, Joe Calzaghe. Okay, because from the tree, it wasn't for everyone I fought. From the tree, Bute, Andre Ward, Joe. I think, I don't want to put, maybe I would say, if I say Andre Ward, because Andre Ward, I can't say Andre Ward, maybe I would say it's a little bit difficult, It's very difficult because it's both for Andre Ward or Calzaghe, because Bute wasn't very strong. It was just around Andre Ward, because Andre Ward, if I say, was a little bit dirty, a little bit, and Calzaghe too, it was southpaw. He didn't know exactly, he didn't know how to handle me. And in the meantime, both of them, I was very strong. And I would say both of them, because I can't decide. I was just, both of them, I was very, there was, one of the tough and one of the strong. And because compared with the style, because Calzaghe was southpaw, Andre was orthodox. And then to fight like a southpaw and, and fight Andre like Andre was orthodox, and then technically both of them, there was, I don't want to put one down, say this was the stronger one, and maybe I will say both of them, there was a stronger one.
What did both do well? What were their strengths? Both fighters, Joe and Andre.
Pardon, I didn't hear you.
What were their strengths? What did they do best?
We Andre Ward, you have like before Andre Ward, because when I fought Andre Ward, technically Andre Ward was a little bit scared because he saw me, fought in the contender. He fought around the world, he knew I was very strong, and it was very, 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 very scared to see, because he didn't choose me to fight me, because what it was, was for the Super 6, and then they asked me if you are supposed, and I think it was, I don't know who will get injury, and they asked me, I was supposed to be in the Super 6, they couldn't choose me, and the semi-final, someone get injured, and they asked me if I had to fight Andre Ward. Andre Ward didn't want to fight me, because I have a hard helmet, he trained them, and then when they choose me to fight Andre Ward, technically when I saw Andre Ward and the weight, he wasn't confident to beat me. But again, I will say, I don't want to put that down. I don't want to put Andre Ward down. I will just say, Andre Ward was tough. He had the skill. Joe Calzaghe, undefeated, more experienced fighter. He fought everyone in the world, and then both of them, not just Andre Ward and Calzaghe, both of them, they're undefeated. I would say maybe both of them, I think, it just will be complicated, I would say maybe Andre Ward was more tougher fighter, because he was pushing me. He had he knew how to fight me. And at the end of the day, he say, I don't know if you remember, for the end, he say he watched all my tape. He knew, say Sakio was coming to fight, and then I need to prepare very well to beat this guy. And for me, it was just the way he speaks, he said to say he have to train very hard to try to beat me for. It doesn't mean that I was, he's supposed to tell me a little bit softer. It was investigate to say exactly how I'm supposed to win the fight. For me, I think I didn't lose the fight. If it was maybe, I think maybe the fight was draw, or maybe I was supposed to win the fight. What did you think about that? I posed the question. What did you think?
No, I thought it was a very close fight. I thought it was very close fight. I would like to see it. I would like to see it again. I would like to have seen it again later on in your careers because, like I said, he went on to become an undisputed champion, Hall of Famer, undefeated.
Yeah.
I would like to see him fight you one more time. That's the only thing I would say is with Andre Ward, I would love to have seen him have a bit more fights before, because compared to Joe Calzaghe, I would like to see him have a bit more fights. But either way, they're both legends of the game, Hall of
Yeah, they're the
Famers,
legend.
and ones are down in history. So yeah, I would love to have seen it again if it happened. I would love to have seen you had a rematch one day, but unfortunately,
I have to be maybe kind of maybe in 10 years time when I retire, maybe in 5 years, I want to become one of the legends because I fought both this guy and both of them used and they couldn't give me no rematch. And then to me, you know, and both of them say, look, they was maybe lucky to win the fight, and both of them give me respect, and I respect both of them. I think maybe one day I become to maybe one of the, you know, go in the history, like, you know, like Calzaghe and Andrew Wall.
Yeah. Sakio, I want to ask you a question. If you could have picked one super middleweight fighter you could have fighted, past and present, in the mega fight, who would you have picked?
Past and present. Past and present. I think I will just one person again for you have a difficult question, eh? I think I will pick here for past and present. Past and present. Because technically, if you are saying I want to fight, you know, Canelo, then we say maybe I have maybe big heart. I would say maybe Calzaghe because Canelo, I don't know if I would just say Calzaghe because you know, it was there on the game. He beat so many good fighters, and then in the end, he beat like a Roy Jones. He beat like a Bernard Hopkins. I will choose to fight again maybe Calzaghe.
Yeah.
Calzaghe, yep.
Yeah, that was, like I said, the first fight was great. It was unfortunate that we never got to see a rematch in there as well because that was a very fantastic fight. Obviously, Joe went on to achieve fantastic things, going to Madison Square Gardens and winning both titles as well. He had a fantastic career. Like yourself, I want to ask you as well, Sakio, let's talk a bit about the documentary, The Champion. Tell me about this. Yep. Tell us a bit about it for people viewing, watching this.
And in the meantime, the champion is never get up. You know, we won maybe 2 awards in England. But in the meantime, we still in the process with one of my manager to release around the world. And then I not have so many. I think you saw the little document, the little 1 minute. Yeah. You know, we're still on the process to release that around the world. In the meantime, maybe it will be better to speak with one of my manager. He handle everything. I don't have so much information to give to you because he try to release to sell that everywhere around the world.
Okay, that's fine, champ. Let's talk a bit about your fights with. Obviously, you've been in the ring as well. Not just Joe Calzaghe and Andre Ward. You've been in there with some other great champions, like Lucian Bute you mentioned earlier, Anthony Dirrell, Adonis Stevenson, and Marcus Bayer. Describe those fights. Obviously, you've been some great fights there, some great champions as well. Who would you have picked to fight in a rematch again if you could have?
Who I will pick to fight the rematch again? Maybe I will choose Andrew Ward to fight in the rematch. You know, Adonis, it was very. I can't say. I think I will choose Andrew Ward to fight in the rematch. For me, we've been, you know, if I can get a second chance, because nobody never give me no second chance. Maybe for me, I would be very happy to fight Andrew Ward again, like in a rematch. Compare all these guys because Byers, it was easy. It was easy. Bute, it was lucky. It was in Canada. Adonis, I can't say I went to La Heavy to fight Adonis. And Calzaghe was in England. And Andrew was in America. But for me, to everyone I feel like I will go back to Andrew Ward to fight Andrew Ward in the rematch.
Let's talk about the present fighters. Obviously, in a moment. Obviously, one opponent you thought was Anthony Dirrell. There's been talks of him fighting Caleb Plant for the middleweight super middleweight IBF world title. How do you see that fight going if it does happen?
We Andre what what you say?
Dirrell, Anthony Dirrell.
Yeah, Andre Dirrell. With Andre Dirrell, is I will save that part. I know maybe Andre Dirrell will get stopped because they know how. Yeah, I think we get stopped. I say that because
you think Khalid Plant's too strong for him? Do you think?
I think we've been too strong for him. Yeah, because both of them finish them over. It's over. It just back then I would say it's supposed to be very tough fight for the guy you just said. But in the meantime, Darrell and his brother are changed, then washed up, then finished. They're not the same how they used to be. It's just the name.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about a fight what was supposed to happen, but for the undisputed super middleweight titles, and obviously the negotiations broke down, contracts broke down, and that was Canelo versus Khalid Plant. Can you see this fight happening? And if it does happen, what will be the outcome?
I think the fact it didn't happen because maybe the what it was behind, maybe the money or the contract, whatever. But if it happened, I think Canelo will stop. It will stop. What's the name? Khalid Plant. I think Canelo will stop him because Canelo is very strong. I know, Khalid Plant is one of my, the same man. We use the same manager like Hearn. My team maybe, Canelo will be being too strong for him. Khalid Plant speak, he talk very loud. But again, I can't say maybe we've been easy fight for Canelo, but I'm very sure that Canelo is a very strong guy. And then, I think that fight, I don't know if we go at 12 rounds. I think Canelo will stop him because he's just too strong. And Mark Penn is a good fighter. I can't say it's bad. It's good, it's not, he have a good technique, a good footwork. It's fast with the hand. But I think compared with the power, it's not have the power. But it's very fast, good movement, good hand. Like, he have good skill, may not have no power. I'm very confident that Canelo will stop him. I don't say that because I will see when I see both fighters, I will see who's stronger and who have, who's stronger. I see maybe Canelo is very strong, yeah.
I want to talk about a fellow Cameroon fighter of yours, and that's Carlos Takam, who fought a couple of weeks ago, heavyweight fight against Britain's very own Joe Joyce. Obviously, the fight got stopped. Do you think it got stopped too soon?
But yeah, I think if it gets stopped too soon, then the referee is supposed to give Takam some second chance. And then the referee didn't give no second chance. For me, I feel as if it was very early to stop the fight very quick because the referee sometimes he can see the fighter and see them eye, and when Takam they drop, I think it didn't drop. He get punched so many punches, and the referee give a second chance. He's supposed to give a second chance before it stopped. I didn't give no second chance, and when it stopped the fight, it was just too early. But again, sometimes we outside the ring, we don't have no power. Just the referee have the power to stop the fight or to let the fight go on.
Yeah, obviously Carlos Takam now in his 40s as well. Do you think he'll fight again for a world title one day? Do you still think he's got what it takes to fight again for a world title?
Who? Takam?
Takam.
And the meantime, is a heavyweight, and the heavyweight division is not, is not flyweight, is not middleweight, is not like a bantamweight. Heavyweight is and when you see all this heavyweight behind Takam, then just very huge, very big boy, very tall guy like Tyson Fury. It's too tall, is the monster. And when you see the other fella, the English guy, what's his name? The heavyweight,
Anthony Joshua.
Joshua is a big boy, big guy. And when you see the other one, England again, the big one, the black fella, and he speak too much, he speak very loud. What's his name?
You know what?
Yeah, that what is a very big ball, you know. And then when you go back to America, you see like, you know, for me, I love Takam is from one of the Cameroon kids, you know. He had the chance there, but the fight was stopped very early. And when I see Takam like a friend, I think heavyweight division with the way all these guys them too big, I will just say maybe because it's a Cam, I will say maybe the division will be better for you, will be maybe cruiserweight because heavyweight is just too, it's not like, it's not tall, it's big. Man, when you compare all the heavyweight, you know all the heavyweight, just all the heavyweight, then just too tall, too big, too strong. For me, I think if we drop maybe for cruiserweight, I think we become one of the world champion. Just my own. I don't want to put it say can't become a world champion for a heavyweight. You just compare with the guy and the present, like Tyson Fury, Joshua, Wada, them just too tall and just big, and I can't say not have no chance. And heavyweight, one punch, you can change everything. But for me, I think maybe we have to drop because the way it's not too tall, it's a little bit too short. I think for me to go down and light heavyweight will be very better division to become a world champion one day.
100%. That's great advice. I want to ask you, obviously, let's talk a bit about two massive up-and-coming fights in the heavyweight division. And that first is Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk at White Hart Lane in the UK. How do you see that fight going? Obviously, Usyk was a cruiserweight undisputed champion. He's now come up to heavyweight. Can you see him coming over to the UK and beating Anthony Joshua?
I'm not think so. Joshua's not. Joshua's a champ. What happened for his last fight? I guess with the Mexican guy. Joshua, is one of my favorites. I like him, and he shows every time in the people in the world, he have the, he can hit, he have the power. He's a very strong guy. I think for me that fight, I'm not sure if I think Joshua will beat it. Joshua, for me, I think Joshua in the meantime is one of the best heavyweight compared with Tyson Fury. They have to fight to say exactly where we become the world. I think Joshua, for me, I like him like a boxer. He moves very well. He have more. He's moved very well like a good heavyweight. Like he moved like technical like Evander Holyfield. When Holyfield used to be heavyweight, the way Joshua moved like Evander Holyfield. And for me, I think the fight with that guy, I think Joshua, for me, 100% Joshua will beat him.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the third fight trilogy, October in Vegas. How do you see that fight going?
I love Tyson Fury. I like what's his name? Tyson Fury. Wilder. I like Wilder. I think technically I have to be very what I say because both of them were the friend. I don't want to. I think for me, I will just put the fight 50-50. I will go for the best one and the not. I like Tyson Fury. I like Anthony Wilder. He can hit. He have the power. He have that very right hand. When he hit you, it's over. And Tyson Fury too. Is a one of the heavyweight. When you see the way he move and the ring, the way he jab you, and the size, the tall. You say this the heavyweight back then. Around when we used to sit on midnight, it's a kind of heavyweight, the 1980, the big ball, when you see one heavyweight, say this the proper heavyweight. You see the way he move, the way he hit. And in the meantime, when I see every time Tyson Fury, I always say, yeah, this is a proper heavyweight. This is not pretend. This is heavyweight. And that was I love about Tyson Fury because he's a tall, he had the reach, and can move very well like all heavyweight. But for me, fighting Wilder, for me, I have to go 50-50. I don't know who will have to win the rematch. I will just go the better fighter for that night. If you win the fight for me, I'll be very happy. Because both for that fighter, I love both of them. I love Tyson Fury, I love Wilder too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna. I'm sure both fights are gonna be two fantastic fights. Obviously, the first two fights were fantastic between Wilder and Fury, and I'm sure the third
Yeah.
fight will be better. So, Sakio, before I let you go, I want to ask you, what's your short-term and long-term goals going forward in boxing?
My short term, I want to have again one more track in England with one of the youngest father, like technically, like Callum Simic. If you
Yeah,
know, he have the guard to find me, or because if everyone over there they are super middleweight in England, if someone want to test himself in England, they know who to contact. Callum Simic or everyone, you know, he want because in the meantime, people are so scared to find me. And I don't know exactly if because Callum Simic can say want to find me. My goal is to come back in England, have maybe one more track for the world title there if I can, or for the big fight there. And then if I have again the chance, maybe I will go back to to the state to have again one more fight. And then if I will keep going, maybe if I lose, maybe it's time maybe to give up to hang my the glove to hang up my glove and the wall. Man, I want to get one more crack, one more chance, one more track in England. I want to come back to England to challenge everyone. I don't want to say nobody. I don't want to challenge nobody. May everyone have the gut to call me up. I'm very happy to come there and test. You can test yourself if it's good or if it's strong or if you have the gap, to beat me.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned just before, you mentioned you obviously Callum Smith. Callum Smith is talking about him going up to light heavyweight, but there's still fights out there, British fighters over here, like the likes of Zach Parker, Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank Jr. There's still big fights potentially if you can come over here and fight. If you could pick one of the names I just mentioned, who would it be?
I don't pick nobody. I fight everyone anywhere. I don't need to pick everyone. They have you have balls. You want to test yourself. Because people that I always come to fight. I never come. I don't have like a halfway. I'm coming to fight. If it's someone because I say I will choose maybe this. If you like I'm choose, I don't choose nobody because every time I always choose. I don't need to choose nobody. People that suppose with my age, people that supposed to say, okay, maybe I'm supposed to fight Sakio BIKA to beat him, to make the name for myself. I don't need because I do my part. I fight everywhere in the world, and people always know I always come to fight. And for me to choose some young kids say, oh, I want to choose that, I don't need to choose nobody. Everyone over there, super middleweight or light heavy, maybe light heavyweight is too strong for me. A super middleweight, everyone, if you have the gut and you can talk, just say, I want to fight Sakio BIKA and test myself, to see how strong he is. For me to call someone up, it's not for me again. I never call nobody because I have to call everyone. Nobody don't want to fight. And when I fight one person, say if he is very close, I beat him, or he went draw, nobody don't want to fight me back. For me to call one young kid to say I want to fight, you feel I say I'm still begging people to fight. I'm not there for beg nobody. Because if everyone want to test yourself like a chair, say, okay, I want to fight Sakio BIKA. They can say you see again what happened when I was supposed to fight. What's his name again? He's retired in England, and the fight didn't go away. Ben, Nigel Ben.
Nigel Ben. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it was old man. I know what to say, but he's a good friend. It didn't happen. I was just want to bring that back to say what happened again when I was supposed to fight Nigel Ben, and Nigel Ben say get injury again. The fight didn't happen, It's just the thing sometimes happen. But my point is, everyone in England are super middleweight. Everyone over there, I challenge everyone over there. If you have the gut, call me out and say you can find me. I will come over there and we can see who's the better fighter.
So before I go, have you got a quick message for promoters like Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and their fighters to give you a call and maybe one day get this fight on?
Eddie Hearn Eddie Hearn, I can't say that is the pussy. He said that for me, say he's too scared to me to fight. He say I'm too dangerous for all he fight. I said that to me. He said that for my manager. As I ring him, I say Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, I know is the best promoter. I love Eddie Hearn. What he's doing, bringing young coming man. He's too scared to him. You can ask him. You can call Eddie Hearn, ask him. he's too scared at the meantime to put me with one of your father. He always says Sakio is too strong for everyone and my father. Maybe if Eddie Hearn have the gut, Eddie Hearn say, no, you know who I am, you know my manager, if you get my number, I know where I'm live. He can say, okay, Sakio, we want you to England in 2 months or 3 months on the end of the year. I will come over there, and then everyone who won at Super-Middleweight, I will come over there and fight everyone, and anyone who will put me with him, I will come there and fight. I don't care who he can choose. You know, I don't have to. With Eddie Hearn, is a promoter, as a businessman. You know, you always have to take care for his father. You know? For me, if you feel I say have the gut to test his father with me, you know where I live. You know, you have my phone number. You know who, you can contact to me to come in England.
Brilliant, brilliant. Sakio, thanks again. Absolute pleasure having you on. I really enjoyed that, and I wish you nothing but the best. And I'm sure we're going to speak again soon.
No problem, and thank you again for having me for your show, and I very appreciate it.
Thank you very much, champ. Take care now.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.